Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode In the School Parking Lot. I'm your host. My name is Paul Everts. You can reach me at my email address, and I wish you would. It's BAND, the number 2, together, band together, Comcast.net. Also, visit our handsome website, which is conductingmylife.com. Well, you'll see I'm an author. Yeah, there it is. Go to Amazon.com and get a book. It's a great book, actually. I love the book. And also speaker, trainer, coach for the John Maxwell team. Let me come out and help you be better, because better people make better leaders, and we need that. Just a brief background of who I am. I'm a school teacher. Started teaching July 1989, which means I'm a 20th century teacher. And October-ish, October 6th, 2021, I was told not to say I love you to my students anymore, and I don't care about your First Amendment rights. Don't use the internet, don't use social media. And I said, well, that's not going to work. So I went ahead and I resigned early. And so this is how I'm doing things. I do work at a charter school near where we live, which is Roseville, California. Enjoying the charter school experience. And that's about it. You want to learn more, get the book, and BAND, number 2, together, band together, Comcast.net. I'm recording this on the 3rd of July, even though it's been put out on August the 3rd. That sounds kind of funny. What are we doing? We are sharing stories about schools, K-12 primarily, and I call it In the School Parking Lot because April of 2021, the principal told me, you got to keep Jesus Christ in the parking lot, Paul. Sorry. And I said, are you telling all the homosexual teachers to keep their pride flags in the parking lot? Oh, no, that's different. Not really, because that's who they are. Are you telling all the BLM supporters to keep their banners down? Oh, no, that's different. Not really. So anyway, I'm in the school parking lot. You ready to go? Okay, episode 22, August the 3rd. This is by Sarah Klein, June 20th, 2024. Says new law requires all Louisiana schools to put up to 10 commandments. Holy smokes, by Sarah Klein. Wow. This is interesting. Baton Rouge, Louisiana has become the first state to require that the 10 commandments be displayed in every public school classroom. The latest move from a GOP-dominated Louisiana legislature pushing a conservative agenda under a new governor. The legislation that Republican Governor Jeff Landry signed into law on Wednesday requires a poster-sized display of the 10 commandments in large, easy readable font in all public classrooms, from kindergarten to state-funded universities. Governor Landry said the following, quote, if you want to respect the rule of law, you've got to start from the original lawgiver, which was Moses. You like my Louisiana accent? Probably not. Okay. Opponents questioned the law's constitutionality and vowed to change it in court. Proponents said the measure is not solely religious, but that it has historical significance. In the language of the law, the 10 Commandments are, quote, foundational documents of our state and national government. The posters, which will be paired with a 4-graph context statement describing how the 10 Commandments, quote, were a prominent part of American public education for almost 3 centuries, must be in place by 2025. It'll be interesting to see what happens when the Supreme Court gets that, because of course the Supreme Court's going to get it. Why wouldn't they? Okay, this is the book we're working out of. We're working our way through. I do not read every word of every paragraph. I don't want to get in trouble. Highly recommend this book. And again, the purpose of doing this is because this book isn't going to be in college classrooms. No. Probably not going to be on tables in the faculty lounge either. And I think that's a shame, because some people go, why don't people like public school teachers? Why not find out? It's not that I necessarily agree with everything that Samuel Blumenfeld and Alex Newman are saying, but why not read it and say, wow, is that what they think of us public school teachers? Yikes. Okay, here we go. Chapter 17, contributing to the delinquency of minors. Seems kind of hyperbolic, Paul. Okay, whatever. I myself struggled with suicidal thoughts as a child and a teen. It is directly related to the nightmare and torture of schooling. This is from Andrew Parodi. That's Parodi, Amazon reviewer. Online review of Dumbing Us Down, and it's dated 2011. Public schools contribute to the delinquency of minors, which is a crime. With the takeover by John Dewey progressives, the public schools have become a moral and academic detriment to American youth by crippling their brains and destroying their moral consciences. So do you see why this book's not going to be in the faculty lounge anyway? But again, why not understand where their frustration is coming from? More recently, they have become more brazen in their corruption. They do so in 4 different ways. Number 1, they promote semi-pornographic sex education that leads to premarital sex and all of the social emotional problems associated with it. Number 2, they promote teenage drug abuse by plying students with stimulants like Ritalin and Adderall that lead many teenagers to addiction to hard drugs that ruin their lives. Number 3, they commit blatant educational malpractice against children so that they never learn to read and become frustrated and angry at the society that turned them into illiterates. And then number 4, they destroy the children's belief in religious morality by teaching moral relativism and values clarification that lead many children into immoral, antisocial behavior. There's a paragraph right here. The schools teach everything wrong. Instead of teaching that love and marriage should precede sex, they teach that sex comes first without love or marriage. Indeed, probably the single most pressing moral issue facing youth today is premarital sex, which leads to widespread abortion, unwed motherhood, a life on welfare, fatherless families, venereal diseases that may lead to sterility and death, unhappy emotional entanglements, and the awakening of a sexual appetite, which may lead to promiscuity, prostitution, perversion, loss of self-esteem, abuse of sexual partners, and nervous breakdowns. Another paragraph. It seems then that what American children in government schools have been taught to seek out is the freedom to have as much recreational sex as they please, but with guarantees from the state to protect them from the consequences of their actions. In other words, immorality with no personal responsibility is what is being drilled into their young minds. If the, quote, safe sex they teach at school fails, resulting in pregnancy, disease, or emotional trauma, the students know the state will be there to bail them out, whether that be through abortion or taxpayer-funded medical care. So you see what I'm saying? I can see why this book is nowhere near a faculty lounge or a college of education. Again, we each go about 10 minutes. Another paragraph. So how did humanity manage to deal with sex before it became a subject to be taught to children at school? Simple religious and cultural institutions, as well as parents, generally dealt with such matters, all of which have been shoved aside as the state increasingly seeks to usurp their roles. It is true that there has always been some titillating secrecy on the subject. However, adherents to a biblical religion understood that premarital sex, also known as fornication, is a sin. Obviously, it was not a perfect world, but neither is the current sex-saturated environment in which high school students openly complain that their schools are not doing enough to protect them from the consequences of their own immoral and depraved behavior. And again, let's just go to the last paragraph of this chapter. I think you get the flavor of the chapter. It just gives a bunch of statistics. 71% of high school seniors have abused alcohol. 11% of alcohol consumed in the United States is from underage drinkers, and it goes on and on. In reality, the reading instruction methods were, in fact, devised to produce disability in the learner by way of subtle, non-surgical prefrontal lobotomy called the sight word method. I mean, this is it. Okay, here's the last thing. All right, and again, appreciate you listening, because this is tough for me to read after teaching so long. Destroying a child's belief in biblical education, or religion, I should say, is another school contribution to the delinquency of minors. Though values clarification in the philosophy of secular humanism, schools convince children that the morality of the Ten Commandments is what we just read. The Ten Commandments is all about the story in Louisiana and now Oklahoma. Is old-fashioned and based on superstition and mythology. All those thou shalt nots were born of an outdated religious dogma and have no place in modern society. The result is that children, no longer restrained by the absolute morals of the Bible, are free to construct their own moral codes based on their own concepts of right and wrong. Inevitably, they will justify their delinquent behavior on any grounds that will suit their egos. There is no heaven or hell. There is no sin. There's only the reality of one's individual emotions and desires. A dangerous way to live, but one encouraged by a morally dysfunctional education system. We will discuss this in greater detail in the next chapter, which will be next week. Destroying a child's religious beliefs, a spiritual crime. Okay, thanks a lot for listening. There is a Venmo account. We'd love to have your help. It'd be very much appreciated financially. Thanks a lot. Please share, subscribe, press the like button so the algorithm has actual free speech. All right, till next time. Love you. God bless.